Greeting, sorry. Greeting dear viewers, my name is Mark, I am from Kazakhstan, the city of Almaty. Will now release a video in English at the same time and learn the language. In this video we will have on iMac 21 upgrade late 2012. We will increase the RAM and install SSD 1 TB. Sorry, my English is very bad. Okay, let's go. You can still replace the processor with a Core i7-3717S. You can also increase the RAM and up to 16 GB. We will also replace the standard hard drive with a solid-state SSD and transfer user data. So we bought two Kingston RAM 8 GB each with a frequency of 1600. The standard hard drive is in good condition, but it is already very slow and very tired for the latest version of operation system. We start parsing. It is necessary to carefully remove the display. Turn off the iMac and remove the power cable. You also need to energize the residual voltage in the iMac power supply by pressing the start button and hold for 5 seconds. Peel off the display with a special set of tools for iMac, as shown in the video. We move the display towards ourselves and then unfasten two loops. They are on the latches. Ready. Remove the tape at the bottom of the display. Then we take a screwdriver and unscrew the screws to remove the partition. The partition must be removed without fail, since we will remove the power supply and the motherboard, so that in the process it does not damage its integrity. Then we unscrew the right speaker, then the left speaker, then unscrew and detach the cooling fan. The main thing here when reassembling is not to confuse the screws. The cooling fan is screwed onto the extended screws. This is my first video with English voice acting in pilot mode. If you like it and again 1000 waves, then I will continue to translate the videos into English. So support which like and comment, please. Over time the fan becomes clogged, which does and starts to make noise during operation. You will need to clean the blades from dust. Look how much dust he has sucked in. Then we move the left speaker to the side. Take a screwdriver and screw the screws. Remove the hard drive. We will then replace the hard drive with SSD Samsung 816 Evo series 1 terabyte. Go to the power supply and use tweezers to unfasten the cable. The power supply must be carefully removed. Do not forget that each loop has a latch. Now unscrew the two lower screws. Now I will enlarge and show closer. We take out the power supply unit and open the latch of the white power cable of the motherboard with a finger. Then a small train at the bottom. If not convenient, use tweezers. Excellent. Power supply removed. Using tweezers, unfasten the antenna cable of the Wi-Fi module. We fasten the camera cable and below the left speaker cable. And fasten the right speaker cable. Using nails carefully and fasten the mini jack drain. Then we take the T7 screwdriver and unscrew the 4 screws of the processor cooling radiator. Top screws are different from the bottom. Do not mix up. Then we take a T9 screwdriver and unscrew the 4 screws of the motherboard or logic board. After unscrewing all the screws, you need to remove in the place which the hard drive tray the cables above the radiator. There is a latch. We take out in the place of the cable and remove it in the place which the motherboard. Do not rush to do the work slowly so as not to damage the motherboard and not break the ribbon. And now we carefully remove the motherboard. But now you can disconnect two hard drive sled cables. Finish. Okay. This motherboard has an additional SSD connector. Now we need to remove dust from the inside of the body itself. I use a pump for inflatable furniture. Take a T7 screwdriver and unscrew the screw of the video chip cooling radiator. Turn the motherboard over. Take another T10 screwdriver and unscrew 4 screws along the diagonal of the processor cooling radiator. We hold the heatsink on the back with our fingers so that the processor does not fall out the tray. We do this in order to replace the thermal paste on the processor and video chip. We use Arctic MX4 thermal paste. Also, recently the company released MX5. It is even better. Take an old toothbrush and brush off the old dried thermal paste as shown in the video. Then we clean the cooling order and the motherboard itself from small crumbs and dust with a molar brush. Remember earlier I said that this processor can be replaced with a more efficient one, Core i7. I have such a video on the channel, but it is not translated into English. Therefore, I will independently translate the dubbing of the videos into English. So far, this is only the first. Then after the old thermal paste, we need to disinfect the surface of the processor and from a chip, as well as the surface of the cooling radiator with a cotton swab and alcohol. Take the syringe and squeeze the thermal paste onto the video chip crystal and on the radiator where we have a processor. But now the most difficult thing, we put the motherboard on the edge of the table, cover the radiator from the top, fasten 3 screws and the video chip nut to the end. Again, turn the motherboard over from the bottom, with our fingers hold the cooling radiator in such a way that the processor itself does not fall out of its tray during spinning. Tighten the screws of the processor diagonally while holding the heatsink, and only then it will be possible to tighten the screws to the end. Next, we extract the old RAM and pack the new RAM and install it immediately in place. Be very careful not to bend the latches on the motherboard. I save the background music that plays. I also record it on the iPhone itself in the band garage program. It's very convenient. Well, we installed all the RAM, we replaced the thermal paste. Now it's time to assemble everything in reverse order back into the case of our iMac. In order to evenly center the motherboard in the iMac case, you will need to connect any USB device to the back of the case, and only then it will be possible to screw the motherboard. Also, do not forget to connect all the loops. Especially do not forget to connect the Wi-Fi module antenna cable. The motherboard is already installed, and now you need to return and connect the power supply cable and screw it from the bottom with 2 screws. Unpack the new Samsung SSD and re-glue the rubber seal from the old hard drive. Connect SSD and screw on plastic plugs. Now we fasten the right and left speaker. Then we need to clean the dust from the cooling fan blades with a molar brush and blow the dust out of it with a compressor. After the work is done, the cooling fan is cleaned, screw it back into place and do not forget to connect the cable. Then we return the metal partition at the bottom of the case back and fasten it using tweezers for convenience. We connect the display so that it does not fall. You need to fix it on paper tape. Connect the power cable. Connect the mouse and keyboard. Connect the installation SSD from which we boot to perform a clean installation of Mac OS. After loading, open the disk utility program, select our new SSD disk, select it, press RS. The customer wants used to install macOS Mojave. For this, we need to correct the date for 2019 years before installing. Start the installation. Select a new SSD. Very well. We'll install macOS Mojave. Great, 16 gig of RAM works great on this iMac. The system began to be installed from an external SSD to an internal SSD. Now we just have to wait. We immediately connect the old hard drive from which we will transfer the user to a place with all data and programs as well as setting using the migration client. On average, the operation system can be installed for 20 minutes, but the migration process, when the disk is full of data, can take up to 10 hours. And this is just our case when data will be copied for a very long time using the migration assistant. That's just how we got to the transfer of information. Now the application is looking for our old hard drive, which we will transfer information to. Okay, this disk. Skip. Waiting. This process of searching for a user on the hard disk can also take 10 minutes. After the user dialog box pops up everywhere, you need to check the box to set a new password and click next to start the copying process. The process has already been started. Everything remains only to wait. In our case, we waited for 6 whole hours of data copying. After the migration assistant completes the data transfer, you will need to disconnect the old hard drive and restart the iMac, the horror of the new SSD. In order to increase the service life of the SSD of the drive, you will need to forcibly enable support for dimm. To do this, open the terminal in the programs and enter the command that is shown on your screen now. Enter the password, press enter, then press the Y, then press the Y again. After a while, the iMac will reboot itself and you will need to go in and check whether dimm is turned on or not. Now let's replace the speed of this SSD drive. Open it. Application program disk speed test. Press start. Super. Very speed. Normally. It's time to play with the display. I will use in this video double-sided tape, 5mm white semi-transparent paper. But before that, you need to peel off the old factory adhesive tape from the entire perimeter of the case. Long nails will not help in this. This tape is very thin and holds the display very well. You will not have to worry that the display will then fall off. So you will need to glue 3 times on top of each other as shown in the video now. You can also use the original factory-made double-sided tape, which can also be bought on eBay, AliExpress. I have the original double-sided tape, but I need the display to hold securely. The original sometimes does not hold well and the display falls off. I show this method if you use a non-original Scotch tape in case you cannot find the original one. Then it will also be possible to remove the display and peel it off, but the touch will take much more time since this one is boring and holds the display very well. I'm almost forgot, I still need to remove the remnants of the old one, download the display itself. Now we will glue the display to the case. Peel off the tape at the bottom and insert the display, connect the cable, then turn on the iMac to make sure it's turned on. Everything works. Now click wipe the camera glass from dust. This is what the original double-sided tape looks like for these iMacs. You already decided for yourself whether you will use the original tape or you will use such as in this video. Thank you for donation in support of the channel. Right way you think about it. It is worthwhile for me.